Welcome to the third video in the stoichiometry series. What we are doing here is chemical calculations. Sometimes the problems that you are asked to find answers for involve a mixture of substances that are measured in either grams or liters. You're asked to find the other unit. So in our first video, we had what we called mass-to-mass problems. We start with grams and end with grams of a different substance. In the second video, we had volume-to-volume problems. We start with liters and end with liters of a different substance. In the third type of problem, you may start with grams and end with liters of a different substance. You may start with liters of one substance, and then you're asked to find the mass of a second substance. So, these mixed mass volume problems can be calculated in very similar fashion to the mass-to-mass problems. We just have to use one different conversion factor than we did for mass-to-mass. To solve these problems, please look at your mole roadmap. If you don't have that out, you should get that out now. This is the mole roadmap. I've subtracted off one leg of it. But basically what we would look at in this particular set of examples is going either from mass to volume or from volume to mass. Converting from mass to volume or vice versa is very similar to mass, as I said earlier. So you follow the same basic steps. After you get a balanced chemical equation, please label it. Identify what you're given, label what you want to find, and cross out the other substances so you do not focus on them. You don't accidentally start looking up their molar mass when it's in fact not needed. In both the first two types of examples, mass-to-mass and volume-to-volume problems, what you have to do is go through moles. So you take the quantity given, change it to moles. That requires a different step if you're coming from the mass side than from the volume side. So if you're coming from mass, you have to divide by the molar mass. If you're coming from volume, you have to divide by 22.4 liters if it is at STP. Once you have the moles of the given substance, you can exchange it for moles of the unknown substance by looking at the coefficient ratio in the balanced chemical equation. Then you can convert to the units that you want. If you want mass, multiply by the molar mass. If you want volume, multiply by 22.4 liters per mole. Let's do an example. Oh, before we get to that, please do note that depending on the level of complexity of the problem, you may need more than the 4 columns that I usually use in these examples. So for example, if you're given milliliters and asked for liters, or if you're given decimeters cubed or cubic centimeters, then you might need another column or two to do some conversions. I'm not going to do any of those examples here. Here's an example. I was eating a donut this morning and I looked on the box and it said that each donut contains about 20 grams of sugar. Now, I assume all that sugar is sucrose. Its formula then is C12H22O11. What would be the volume of carbon dioxide produced at standard temperature and pressure during respiration when 20 grams of sucrose react with an excess of oxygen? You may not remember this from biology class, but the whole point of breathing oxygen is to react it with the molecules of food that you consume. The products, when it's completely broken down, are carbon dioxide and water. So I have to find a balanced chemical equation. This is a combustion reaction. It should look something like this. Sucrose plus 12 oxygen molecules produce 11 water molecules and 12 carbon dioxide molecules. Now, even though I read this on the molecular level, it's equally true if I read these as mole ratios. The problem that I read to you gave 20 grams of sugar or sucrose at the start, and the question was how many liters of of carbon dioxide are produced. The question does not ask me about oxygen or water, and so I am going to mark through those. I don't want to focus on the water or the oxygen at any point after I've identified my given and unknown substance. If I look at the mole roadmap, I see that I'm starting at mass and I'm going to volume. So if I start at mass and I go to volume, I have to first go through moles. I need to multiply 1 mole over molar mass. In this case, it's 1 mole of sucrose over the molar mass of sucrose. Then I do a mole exchange, and I change it into carbon dioxide to moles. And since I want liters of carbon dioxide, I'll now multiply by molar volume over 1 mole. So if we do it in the grid method that I've shown in the earlier videos, it would start out like this. We'll write 20 grams of sucrose in the first box. We'll write liters of carbon dioxide, our unknown, way over on the right-hand side. And now we need to do a series of conversions. The mole roadmap tells me that the first step is to convert from grams of sucrose into moles of sucrose. So if I add up 12 carbons, 22 hydrogens, and 11 oxygens, that's going to have a total molar mass of 342.3 grams. 1 mole of sucrose weighs about 342 grams. If I go ahead and cross out my units as I go, I can keep up with where I am in the problem. My grams of sucrose are going to cancel on top and bottom. I'm left with moles of sucrose, which is a good thing to have, but not what I want. I need to keep going. Now that I have moles, I can do the mole exchange. I look up the ratio from the balanced chemical equation. There is no coefficient for the sucrose, but it's implied to be a 1. So for every mole of sucrose, 12 moles of carbon dioxide would be produced. The moles of sucrose will cancel. Leaves me with moles of carbon dioxide. Now that I have moles of carbon dioxide, I can change it to liters by multiplying by 22.4 liters over 1 mole, since this question specifies that we want STP, standard temperature and pressure. Moles of carbon dioxide on top and bottom will cancel. I'm left with liters of carbon dioxide, which is what I want to find, so it's just time to do the math. 20 times 12 times 22.4 on the numerator side, divided by 342.3 on the denominator. I can ignore any ones because they do not change the result. If you do the calculation correctly, you should get 15.7 liters of carbon dioxide are produced by eating 1 donut. Now that may not seem like a lot, but you only breathe out a fraction of a liter with every breath, a fraction of a liter of carbon dioxide, because carbon dioxide makes up a very tiny percentage of your breath. So this would actually take quite a lot of breaths to get rid of that carbon dioxide. Now, I always tell you to mark out what you don't need, but you shouldn't erase it completely, because there might be a part B to this question that might say something like, how much water is produced? And so if you leave it where you can read it, then you could go ahead and set up the second problem, and you could do something like find that it takes or produces 11.6 grams of water. So 1 donut means that you get about 11.6 grams of water produced, and eventually that means you are going to have to go and relieve yourself. So at STP, eating 1 donut produces 15.7 liters of carbon dioxide. Again, I'd like for you to go ahead and do some practice problems. They're all basically the same. You just may have to change directions. Take the given quantity, convert to moles. Do a mole exchange from the balanced chemical equation's coefficients. Convert back to the unit that you want. Just follow the mole roadmap. Here are some problems that you can practice.